Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Teen of the Week segment of the This Week in the Tech Boy podcast. Today, we're with Nicole, who runs an account on Instagram and also runs uh, business. Could you tell us about that?
I started my social media account to kind of jumpstart my business,
Hmm.
and the business isn't officially launched yet, but it's basically going to be a marketing kind of thing, but only for Christian like clothing companies because I don't think they get enough like support in the business world.
So, how do you expect to grow the business? Like, you already have 2.5 thousand Instagram followers. Like, how did you do it?
Yeah, so I do only have I joined less than a
Hmm.
month ago and I've gotten up to 2,000, so it's slow progress, but it's kind of teaching me on the way, like how to better do things and how I could actually help market for the businesses that I'll be helping.
Well, yeah, I mean, it seems pretty fast to me. I mean, I started like a few years ago and I'm still stuck around 200. So, uh, it seems like you're doing something right. On your video feeds, you talk about Christianity and Christian content. What inspired you to do that?
Honestly, just as soon as I realized that Jesus was the way and the truth and I just wanted to follow it. I just wanted
Mhm.
everyone else to experience it as well. And I really like social media. Like, I figured if I'm going to be on it, I might as well use it as a good platform rather than to spread hate and evil. I might as well spread the good news.
Yeah, that sounds great. How do you get your video ideas?
Um, Honestly, a lot of them is just my daily life. It's
Mhm.
just things I encounter every day, and just when I go to church, sometimes the topics that they talk about, I'll also speak on.
Oh yeah, so I really wanted to get into that. What is your daily life like? What's it like?
So it's just going to school like any other kid, but I do wake up, I read my Bible, I will go downstairs, eat breakfast, all that, but I start my day in the Word because I think that it really helps you like have a better day and just live through Jesus more.
Hmm.
And something more unusual that I would say that I do at school that not a lot of kids you'll see doing is a lot of times I'll bring my Bible to school for like an off period or whatever, and I'll just sit there reading it. And I think it's a really good way to get people to see like that's what it is like to really love Jesus and want to follow him. It's to really love the word and not just say you do.
Hmm. Yeah, the Bible is very important. I sometimes did bring your Bible to school day thing that they had. It's like what, October or September? I can't remember when they have that specific day. And I heard the episode that goes along with it. I think it's great. Do you ever find yourself bored uh, by it, or are you always excited by what's in the Bible?
Honestly, anyone that's tried to read like Numbers or Deuteronomy or even sometimes Leviticus, like it can get really draining and you're just like,
Hmm.
wow, like I do not want to read this anymore.
Hmm.
But I saw this thing and it's like, don't try to start the Bible where you think you should, like at the very beginning, Genesis, and read it all the way to the end, but just
Hmm.
start it where you're actually gonna read it. Because then if you're not gonna read it because you get too bored, it's does no good.
Yeah. People, going to church is very important. In my opinion, I think that Christians should do that. Right now I'm not in any youth group or anything right now, so I don't really have anyone to talk to about around my age to talk to about faith or Christianity. Do you have something like that at your church or in your life?
Honestly, I've never really found that much of a community
Hmm.
despite going to church and stuff. Um, not with kids around my age. We do have a small group that is offered, but I never really feel that connected with any of the other people. I think it's kind of a disconnect between our desires of how deeply in faith we want to be and how
Hmm.
much we actually live through that in our daily lives.
Yeah, same. I sometimes feel disconnect from people when I went to some of the other youth groups around. I think I don't really know what it is. Maybe I can figure that out someday. But back to your business, you said that you want to bring, uh, you said it's like marketing platform for Christian clothing fashion. How are you going to help market it?
On Instagram, if you compare like how many followers any normal clothing brand would have, like Nike or anything, like
Hmm.
they have tons of followers and all that stuff. And obviously with faith focused, like, I don't really care how much followers I have as long as I'm doing what God's calling me to do. And
Hmm.
I think with Christian clothing, just being able to be there to help because a lot of the thing I'm seeing with a lot of Christian clothing is they just want to get the faith. They just want to like that's all they really have an interest in is like living for God, which means they don't really have that much connection into social media or knowledge of how it works.
Hmm.
And so I just want to be here kind of to help guide them through it and help them find success in their business.
Oh, okay. So how do you know how to do this? Like, have you taken classes or training or?
Honestly, I'm still learning. It's through
Mhm.
experience. I mean, that's a big reason why I made my own account
Mhm.
to focus on Jesus, just to show them for 2 reasons. Like, first, it'll show them that I do know how to do it, and second off, it's to prove to myself that I'm able to, and it's just learning along the way.
It looks like that you know what you're doing because you said you started 1 month ago and now you already have 2,000 followers. And we don't know each other in real life. So you popped up on my feed and I thought this was really interesting that you want to become like an entrepreneur. I want to do that as well and, grow my business and grow my brand. How do you come up with all of your video ideas and content other than just being in church? Do you have a specific way that you come up with ideas?
Honestly, I mean, a couple of them are kind of, like, scripted, like, sometimes I'll be like, "Oh," because to catch some views or to gather more Christians,
Hmm.
sometimes you have to bring up, like, controversial topics that are being talked about more widely and stuff.
Yeah.
So, there is that kind of helps me know what to talk about, but other than that, it is just whatever comes to my head, whatever God wants me to talk through.
So when you make your videos, um, do you ever feel like that it's performative? How much of that do you feel like is you and your personality versus it being scripted?
Honestly, I'm not sure. Like, most of my talking videos, I feel like I do a pretty good job of actually talking how I feel like I should and what I wanna
Mhm.
say, but the ones where I'm not really talking, I do kind of feel like that's not very true to myself because it's just kind of videos of me and not me talking. So recently I have been posting a lot more of genuine things that I think, and I've just been putting them out there.
Yeah, it. I just kind of feel like that some of it, and it's not an attack on anyone else, anyone in the space. I mean, I think that if they can do what they have to do to get the views and followers and go out and fight for themselves, I think that's great. But it just kind of sometimes feels uh, fake to me. Like if it's just like not talking or anything or kind of cliche. I don't know. Do you ever read devotionals?
I don't I don't really read devotionals, no.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, I have, but
Mhm.
not it's not like a part of my daily life.
Well, I know of like their existence. I've read some of them before, and they just kind of like they kind of feel predictable, like you know what they're going to say in them, and I'm like, this isn't really helpful at all. That's sometimes what the content can sometimes feel like it feels predictable and scripted. That's what it feels like, in my opinion. Which is fine. I'm fine with predictability and scriptedness. It's just that I think that we should acknowledge that it is scripted, not just like randomly coming out. So I think it's great that you are able to script your videos in such a good way.
Yeah. It's definitely hard in the Christian space,
Hmm.
but I think a lot of the Christian creators out there, I think they do have good intent. Most of them that are really like trying to create for the glory of God. I think the good intent is there. Sometimes it is really hard to get lost up or like all caught up in views, comments, likes, all that stuff.
Hmm.
So you have to give some a little like leeway with everyone because
Yeah,
they're just trying to do
absolutely.
what's right.
So, do you think that your account, after you start your business and start getting your brand to Christian clothing brands, do you think that you're going to transform your main account into more of a like personality, where you just like where you exist, but then you just have like Christian messaging behind it? So maybe you'll post a Bible verse, but it's just like a photo, or do you think that you'll stick to creating direct Christian content?
I couldn't see me I, like, couldn't see myself switching to
Mhm.
just a picture and a Bible verse because I don't think that's really what Jesus calls us to do to get his message out. It's not really just a copy and paste situation.
Mhm.
But I think the only thing that I could see changing is when my business does start growing, is that it'll be a lot more of it'll be less posts, but I think the posts I'll be able to put more time into and more effort into every single one.
Mhm. So for one of your reels here, you talk about the evil nun in Despicable Me. I thought that was pretty interesting. I actually liked that movie. I thought it was kind of funny. So could you give your argument as why that is bad or why you were against it?
I really liked the movie too. I'm not gonna lie. It was really funny, but I something while I was watching it, I was just like something clicked and I was like, that is a nun. Like that is a religious figure. That's not just
Mhm.
some cartoon that wasn't just a made up thing for that movie. It like nuns are religious figures and I don't think that they should be shown just in any cartoon, especially not to be made out as the bad guy
Mhm.
because in the end it is like portraying a religion. It's not just some funny figure you can go messing around. The same goes for a lot of the horror movies. There's like horror movies where religion is just thrown into it with churches and nuns even more. And I don't want to see that. I don't think that's good. I don't think that's right. And I think that's just the devil trying to weaponize us.
I mean, that's a pretty fair point there as well. Speaking of weaponization, in church, you have. I mean, obviously, most of it is part scripted, and like you have first you sing, and then you have people read the Bible, and then you have the sermon. Obviously, they have to go script through that. How do you think that some people are scripting it a little bit too much, or like how do you know if your expressions of faith feel real to you, if it's just you getting caught up in emotions?
Um, I think it's only something that you personally could know. I
Hmm.
think that scripting for me means to have a prompt and to know sort of what I want to say to it, but I never read off a script word for word because I think that in the moment I like that God can speak through me. I always want him to talk, not me, because if it's my own voice and my own opinions, then it's not very worth much. But if it's his like voice coming through me, then I know that, and that's why I don't script it word for word. But you can only know it like personally how you're doing it. If you watch a video, you can never assume like they're scripted. Like that's not very genuine.
Oh no, I mean like in church and like you're worshiping God or you're singing or whatever you're doing in church, maybe playing an instrument. How much did you ever feel like that it
Uh,
feels scripted to you, or do you feel like that your worship
I mean,
emotions are true, like feel true to yourself?
when I'm worshiping, for sure, it's
Hmm.
very. That's one of the most intimate times that I have between like me and God. I'd say, which is kind of funny because it's in a room full of people. So it's to each their own. I know some people who are on the worship team, and not that I know them any better than God would, but I know that some of their fruits don't reflect the fruits of the Lord. And so it makes me kind of skeptical sometimes for certain youth groups or certain areas, just if I really think that they're doing it for the glory of God or for the glory of themselves.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think some people, like the people, the audience, sometimes the congregation might be faking it or playing for the cameras or something. And obviously, there's people who are out there who are genuine. I just think it's kind of funny because personally, I like talking. I've always have like talking more, so I like the sermon or like podcast more than I would like music or praise and worship or anything like that. So. Um, I just personally think that when people up there, jumping around, I just wonder like how much of that is real and how much of that is scripted. But I think it's still fun, regardless. Like they look like they're having a good time.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of the things you can't really judge others for.
Hmm.
You can only really like they will only really know if like the heart position that they're doing it for.
Hmm. So you said that in your videos, and that you want to seek God, and that you hear from Him when you get you what you're going to talk about. How do you know how God is talking to you? What do you hear?
I mean, I think most people would agree too when you say this, but it's never really God talking to you, like, you hear his voice. But one way that God talks to me a lot is through dreams, so that's a big way that God, like, speaks through me or speaks to me.
Hmm.
And in my videos, I just I wanna say that it is sometimes, like, me talking over God, and sometimes I do think that God speaks his word better through me. It just
Hmm.
kinda depends, cause I mean, no one's perfect and stuff, and sometimes if I'm rushing a video and I don't really take the time to pause and do thorough research, I think that it may not be as genuine to what God may be wanting to say, but a lot of the times before I make a video, I do pray and I just ask that he talks through me, and he's a listening God, he's active, he's alive, and I do trust that he is there and talking.
So when you pray, do you hear from God? Like, do you hear him audibly speak to you?
I don't know. I I wouldn't I don't hear words from God. I wouldn't say that he, like I mean, most people I talk to, they've never heard his voice
Hmm.
or that's not how he speaks to them, but how he speaks to me is more like different ideas almost that I would get, like different little things that I wouldn't normally think. They're not like normal to how I normally would approach a situation. And I'm like, you just know. If you know it's God's voice, you know where that idea.
So, so you believe that you get your ideas from God?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, he's also in control of all of our lives,
Hmm.
and I mean, glory to God, he's the whole reason I made my account. So,
What do you think your thinking pattern normally is? Like, are you always thinking about something? Like, I'm always thinking about new ideas when I'm at work. I just kind of like I mostly just stand around. So they gave me a phone so I can just type in any ideas that come up into my brain. Like, I'm always thinking about something or talking to myself. But I know some people, um, like, maybe they need to have like a special way that they have to think when they have to come up with ideas.
yeah, honestly, just whatever comes to my head. Sounds like
Mhm.
the same about you, but whatever ideas just flow in my head or whatever I encounter in my daily life, a lot of times I just make a mental note of it and I'm like, I think I need to talk on that, like, give my position on it as a
Mhm.
Christian.
Yeah, so on this podcast, of course, I talk about technology, I talk about what's happening in the culture, and I just do that by reading lots of websites and books. But actually, when this is being taped, I published an article on the main website about how, the internet is kind of getting hard to search for things. So, two-part question. What are your favorite apps and websites that you like to use on your phone? And also, like, where do you get your ideas? Do you get them normally from websites or apps, or like what are you reading?
This is like the last question I'm able to answer,
Okay.
sadly. I will have to go after this, but that's a good question. Um, Honestly, I'm very skeptical of technology, especially as a Christian. I kind of think that the devil utilizes it as his own personal tool to be
Hmm.
able to manipulate any information that he wants. So a lot of times when I'm looking up things using or like trying to look up different things in the Bible and stuff, I mostly go through the Bible app, the
Hmm.
like standard one, pretty standard. I look things up mostly on there. I don't really trust a lot of I know there's a lot of these new AIs, and I genuinely just don't really trust them because it's not a real human and like coming up with it, and that just kind of scares me. Obviously, I'm not scared of ChatGPT. It's not gonna like take over the world, but I don't think that it comes from a good, faithful, reliable resource, and I just don't want to be supporting that biblically. And then, um, what was the second part? Sorry.
Oh yeah, so like when you're reading or something, like what are your favorite apps or websites or whatever you like to read to get your ideas other than the Bible?
Oh, to get my ideas. A lot of things that I genuinely get ideas from is news. Any news articles I see, a lot of times I'll be like, they're not very good news all the time. So a lot of times I see them, I'm like, wow, like I can't believe that's going on in this world. And that really fuels a lot of my conversations. So I would definitely say just talking about news and current day events.
Right. Well, thank you for coming on. And make sure you follow her at Nicole for Christ One and the business at Christian Collectives CO. Hopefully that succeeds well and you do well for yourself and for God.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this interview.
All right, thank you.